What if I told you that a single morning changed the course of history? On December 7, 1941, a surprise attack shocked the world. This was the day that Japan launched an assault on Pearl Harbor. But why did this happen? And how did it lead the United States into World War II? Today, we will dive into the details of the attack on Pearl Harbor and its far-reaching consequences. This is not just history, it's a powerful reminder of the importance of vigilance and preparation. Before the attack, tensions were high between the United States and Japan. Japan was expanding its empire in Asia and the Pacific. This expansion clashed with American interests, especially in China. To counter Japan's aggressive moves, the U.S. imposed economic sanctions and trade restrictions. These actions frustrated Japan and led them to consider a dramatic course of action. Now let's talk about Pearl Harbor. Located in Hawaii, Pearl Harbor was a strategic naval base for the U.S. Pacific Fleet. On that fateful day, the U.S. had about 8 battleships and numerous aircraft stationed there. Early on December 7th, Japanese planes flew over 3,400 miles to reach Pearl Harbor. These planes were part of a carefully planned and coordinated attack. At 7:48 a.m., the first wave of Japanese bombers struck. Surprise was a key part of their strategy. The attack lasted about 2 hours. Over 350 Japanese aircraft took part, aiming for battleships, aircraft, and nearby facilities. The devastation was overwhelming. The attack resulted in the sinking or damaging of 8 battleships. Nearly 200 aircraft were destroyed. More than 2,400 Americans were killed, with many others wounded. The impact was immediate and severe, shocking the American public. But why did Japan choose such a bold move? They believed that a swift and decisive strike against the U.S. would prevent American interference in their plans for expansion. However, they underestimated the American response. In the aftermath, President Franklin D. Roosevelt addressed Congress. On December 8th, he famously called it a date which will live in infamy. Within hours, Congress declared war on Japan. The attack united a divided nation. Americans rallied together, volunteering for military service and production efforts. The factories shifted to war production. This energized the nation and played a crucial role in the war effort. Now let's discuss the strategic failures that led to this attack. Many military leaders had ignored signs of an impending attack. Warnings were not taken seriously, and communication failures were rampant. Despite receiving multiple warnings, crucial information failed to reach decision-makers in time. This emphasizes the importance of preparation and understanding one's enemy. What happened next changed the dynamics of global conflict. The U.S. swiftly ramped up its military presence in the Pacific. American forces began to regroup and prepare for offensive operations. One notable response was the Doolittle Raid in April 1942, targeting Japan's mainland. Though it caused limited damage, it lifted American morale significantly. Eventually, this led to major battles, such as the Battle of Midway in June 1942. U.S. forces would go on to push back against Japanese expansion throughout the Pacific. But the impact of Pearl Harbor didn't stop at military operations. It changed public sentiment in the U.S., leading to increased enlistment in the armed forces. Moreover, it also marked a shift in policy. The attack raised awareness of the need for better intelligence and military preparedness. It made significant impacts on U.S. foreign policy for decades to come. Let's take a moment to reflect on what Pearl Harbor means today. It serves as a critical lesson about the dangers of underestimating potential threats. It reminds us that national security must always be a priority. In modern times, we see countries discussing military openness and collaboration to anticipate conflicts. Thinking about the implications of the Pearl Harbor attack can lead to important conversations today about diplomacy and conflict avoidance. Before we wrap up, I'd love to hear from you. What is your biggest takeaway from the attack on Pearl Harbor? Do you think the U.S. was adequately prepared for what happened that day? Comment below with your thoughts. In conclusion, the attack on Pearl Harbor was more than just a historical event. It was a wake-up call that changed the course of history. It reminds us of the significance of preparation and the consequences of failing to act on intelligence. Thank you for joining me in exploring this pivotal moment in history. If you found this video interesting, please give it a thumbs up and share it with others. Don't forget to subscribe for more engaging content on history and click the bell icon for notifications.